Just show me the. Oh, there's a clip when they attack.
You show me an Aristocrat.
Yeah, when they're like, "Hey, Mouse is on our level." It's at the end. Yeah.
Grady, huh? Mousy, you just struck out. Any last words? Why did I listen to that O'Malley cat? O'Malley? O'Malley? Hold it, cats. This little guy's on the level.
But I don't think that's because of Aristocats. That's obviously
Aristocats.
Aristocats.
Well,
That's a whole different film.
What an idea.
There's already a Rasta Mouse out there. It's a children's TV show, so
A crossover.
why are you stealing?
Why are you
Copyright.
talking to me like I don't know about Rasta Mouse?
Infringement.
Yeah.
Podders. Boop 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 boop.
Boop.
So yeah, welcome to Podders.
Podders, I like it. It's got a ring.
Let's just hope that we're the only people who thought to call our podcast Podders. Podders? How do you say that?
We still don't have a name, so would you play? We don't have a name, ba-da-ba-da-ba-da.
This is just a space filler.
I thought we were Du Bois.
Oh.
Oh well.
I was
Boys. Do 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 do. Ba.
Okay, so welcome to this week's edition of Du Bois. I'm one of Du Bois, Gabriel.
Not to be confused with Des Moines.
Yeah, also great.
Apparently one of the other Du Bois, Dan.
And I'm Luke. Da boy.
Yeah, he is.
Otherwise known as Ya Boy.
We've got Ya Boy, Ma Boy, Da Boy,
God.
Dab Away.
Oh no.
I've got like 3 white guys in a room trying to...
Oh, it's taken like 5 sessions to just devolve.
Well...
I think we managed that in session 1. Let's
Yeah,
not.
that's true.
You might not have been there listening for session 1, but we hit the devolution pretty early.
I was there for session 1, damn one.
Yeah, well, you know, he's making up for it now.
Oh, yeah. You guys really led the pack there.
Yeah. Have you listened to it?
No.
Yeah, I think so.
I think I did say I did, but I got digging around to it. It's quite tiring, that one.
Smooth moves.
Makes you feel better I don't listen to yours.
Oh, that actually does make me feel better.
It was the watch. I said as a reaction.
His watch feels pain.
Don't tap the table.
Just tap Luke.
Don't clink the table with your watch.
So
Can't Gabe gets on track.
Yes, tell us about things.
Tell us about things. Well, things that are streamed and things that are watched are what I do.
Well, so obviously last week we sent you away to watch Marseille.
He says we.
Well, no, it was more than a week ago, Dan.
Yeah, okay.
That was several episodes ago.
Several installments.
Did you just draw back to Marseille?
I did.
Why you draw back to Marseille? We covered that last week. You should listen to the ones you're not involved in.
No, because I was going to elicit the contrast between that and the one that we gave Gabriel to watch. That was actually good.
I'll tell you what's illicit: the fact that you don't listen to your own team, your own squadron of Du Bois.
I will. Just time to digest is needed.
Squadders make the podders.
You make
Get
a
your
great
listeners
politician.
out.
Squadders make the podders.
Where's your listeners at?
You're meant to be the person that controls us.
Like if you subscribe every Tim.
I can see what you've spent your time like checking in on and reading up.
It's extensive research.
I'm going to come in one day and you're going to build in your own soundboard.
I am my own soundboard. Oh wait, that's just talking. But yeah, you know.
So obviously you watched a really bad show. Apologies for that. Me and Luke do apologise for that.
I don't.
Okay, Luke does. But then
It was more mediocre than anything. But yeah.
yeah.
What
But
I was
tell us about this. Tell us what you watched this week.
Well, last week I watched The 3%, which is a Brazilian show made by Netflix.
Lit.
It
sounds pretty. The word Brazilian just makes anything feel lit.
Football.
Yeah.
Football. Neymar.
Waxings.
He's a Brazilian footballer. Waxings.
Is that not the word? I just.
So Dan's covering topics today.
Yeah.
So 3%, yeah, Brazilian.
It was pretty good. I went into it thinking it would just be like a knockoff of the Hunger Games, because it was like, oh yeah, well, when everyone hits their 20s, they go through this test, and only 3% of them get to go to basically a space heaven.
Oh, is that? I thought Okay, so Gabriel showed me the trailer for this, and I didn't think that was what it was. I thought it was basically there's loads of rich people on an island, and everyone else is just on the mainland. But you actually can go there if you pass a test.
Yeah. So when you're 20, you do this test / boot camp, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
If you pass, you get to go to where all the rich people are.
And they are the 3%.
Yes. And it seems to be only Brazil that this affects.
So what's the catch?
The catch is the test's kind of hard, and it's a meritocracy.
Test's kinda hard.
What's the test?
Well, there's a lot of tests. So the first, that was what I thought.
Is it like broken skull challenge?
So
test?
imagine
Like a wipeout.
Imagine
Those balls get everywhere.
Imagine Crystal Maze meets worst job interview ever, and that's kind of what we're looking at. Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah, it opened up with, obviously you see people are from a rough life. Oh, broken clothes, it's dusty.
Favelas.
They have dirt on their faces, shanty
Throwing out
town.
your geography knowledge from A-level.
Yeah. A-level.
He got it to a level, but it might not have been A level.
Just don't break out your MEDCs and LEDCs.
I like the fact that I got it to a level.
He's on.
That's pretty good.
This mouse is on the level.
He's on A-level.
Gabe's just constantly writing bars in his mind.
Corrupted him.
So yeah, all these people, they're dirty because they're poor, and we have to make that really obvious. They go to the test center, which is basically like an IKEA warehouse from the outside. They go inside, and the first test is an interview. Like, well, why do you want to be here? What makes you think that you're good enough to be, go to? It's called the offshore.
But why do they want to go?
Because it's nice.
But how do they know it's nice? They're not there.
Well, all right, we haven't gotten that far in the TV show.
It's not poking holes in the plot.
I'm
just finding out about the test.
I'm just saying, if you live in a favela,
Let the man speak about the test.
Oh, okay.
Boy.
Does gravity exist?
No.
Is there water? Well, how's it an island then?
Yeah, pretty much. But so they sit down and they go through, and the first round of eliminations kind of like basically, do you suck at interviews? Hence the worst interview ever bit. So there'll be guys who are like, hey, we should go out sometime, and apparently that's a test of like how you react to uncomfortable situations.
Yes.
And then basically loads of people already get eliminated from that, either because they've got confidence issues, they're not original, basically anything any interviewer has ever said to you when you failed, and loads of people freak out. And it's about halfway through the episode, because we've got Windows updates everywhere, and that takes time. That's the kind of exposition that takes time, is Windows updates.
Can you navigate a Windows troubleshooting program?
I'm pretty sure that's the last test, the hardest test. So yeah, like our main cast of characters make it through that. One guy doesn't. He really freaks out, and like all the rejects are on a balcony being marched off to like the exit, and all the people who passed are on the ground floor. And bearing in mind it's like a 40-foot difference, not 40 foot, 40 meters, crazy high. They're walking along, and one of the guys just jumps off the balcony and lands splat right in front of them. So he's like, oh man, it is serious, because people are willing to commit suicide because they didn't get in. Yeah, so yeah, stakes go up. That's about 2/3 of the way through the episode. Also going on is there's like basically an equalist movement who are like, well, why can't everyone have access to the sweet stuff, like the sweet life of Zack and Cody, which is in the offshore.
That's actually how you get to the offshore. Via a strain of hotels.
Yeah, so there's like an equal rights movement who are like apparently have sent a mole in as part of one of the groups of people being tested, and we're like, oh, we have to find out who this mole is. So that's going on in the background. And then the next test is you got to make some cubes. So this is where it gets all Crystal Maze. So when you're a kid and you get all of those like weird shaped blocks that fit together to make a cube.
Yeah.
You have loads of those, and you've got to make 9 cubes in indeterminate amount of time.
Did the time get determined by the end, or did you not find that out?
You don't find that out. You're just
Are you
like,
sure?
it's not much.
Are you sure this is like the 3% or not Russia's Olympic test program?
I mean, it's kind of a bit of both. Like, the tests are hard, and you can kind of see, oh wow, but like the politics stuff that's going on to kind of keep you hooked.
Yeah.
I quite like the tests myself, but I can see some people wouldn't be into it.
I get that.
But what's interesting, okay, so like the test itself, that, oh yeah, that's boring and bland, but the guy watching it, and he's being like watched by like Test Ofsted or whatever.
Test Ofsted. I love the fact that you think Ofsted exists.
Well, no jokes.
Yeah, we're just going to let 97% of the population die in poverty on the mainland, but we should probably monitor it to make sure it's fair.
No, okay, let's backtrack a bit. So earlier in the year, in the show, someone got, like, there was a murder, and we're like, oh, that's never happened in Space Heaven before.
Space.
Why is it in space all of a sudden? I thought we were on an island.
No, it's in space.
Is it in space?
It's in space.
Wait, it's Brazil on an island, but in space.
Okay, so
I thought you were joking. I thought
you were just
I thought this was hyperbole.
no, so
gravity actually doesn't exist.
all the rich people, fist bump. All the rich people live in this, like, I guess, space station or whatever.
Yeah.
The test takes place on Earth in Brazil.
Okay.
All the poor people in Brazil go
Yeah.
to take the test.
Okay.
If they pass, they get to go to space,
Okay.
which is where the rich people live.
Okay.
Well,
And slight spoiler, the rich people have got like this technology to do stuff like cure cancer.
I mean, it's a bit too late for the spoiler alert. We've like covered the whole first episode.
Well, to be fair, I thought
Post spoiler alert is how
pretty
we-
much also just done the plot to Elysium, that Matt Damon film. Like, it's exactly the same by the sound of it.
But this
I mean,
is a
to be-
series.
To
So
be fair,
Go on.
I don't think that was in Brazil.
Alright, so
So
two differences now.
yeah, and no Matt Damon.
I did really quite like it though. The guy who runs it, like the test runner, or
Was that his official title?
nah, his name's Ezekiel or something like that.
Of course it is.
Yeah,
Archimedes or something.
yeah,
Zeus.
not heavy-handed at all. But like to begin with, you're like, oh, he seems kind of nice. He's talking to people by their name and wants them to succeed. He's a little bit kind of, I can't tell if he's like a fascist or just super hardcore meritocracy.
Well, I mean, he's obviously down with
There's definitely
3% of the population.
like he
living.
believes.
So I mean, he's probably got some unequal values.
Yeah, he believes in like the whole, oh well, you passed the test, you're worth it, but if you don't pass the test, you're clearly not worth it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they call that like bordering on like eugenics.
Yeah, so there's that whole side of the thing going on. There's also the side of the equal rights people who might also be terrorists. It's hard to tell because they haven't really done any crimes. They just graffiti. So yeah, there's that sort of power balance going on.
That sheer terror.
Yeah.
Banksy.
I'm gonna go. That's such a 2018 form of terrorism. Hashtag.
Someone drew a cat on my face. These damn terrorists.
Striking fear into our hearts by their unequal lines. So he doesn't like them. He's being watched by
Ofsted.
pretty much Ofsted. So this woman's been sent to like watch and make sure that actually he runs the tests kind of fair.
Yeah.
And during the cube test, this is where things get interesting. At the end, one of the guys has only got 8 cubes. He gets really frustrated, snatches his neighbour's cube and shoves it onto his bit.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, hey, that's not fair. He stole someone's cube. And Ezekiel's like, nah, because these tests aren't just about can you make cubes, obviously, because people can make cubes. It's like, how do you deal with like the lateral thinking bits?
Are they just making cubes out of dirt or sand?
You said shapes. Other
Yeah,
shapes.
shapes.
Other shapes make the cubes.
Oh, okay. So it's like Krypton Factor. They're putting
It's
together
almost
around-
like you didn't listen.
I also failed the
Even
test.
when you're here, you don't listen to the podcast.
I can tell you who among us is not part of the 3% right now. That's why Dan doesn't like this show. He wouldn't pass the tests.
So yeah, it's just get 9 cubes any way possible, pretty
Yeah.
much. But that's not.
And one girl
Immediately
passes by making her 8 cubes into another cube.
Oh,
2 by 2.
well played.
That counts.
Levels on levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's going on. You've got kind of like, oh, okay, stuff's happening. The woman who interviewed the suicide person, we mentioned a while back, guy who jumped from balcony.
Yeah.
Dan, who's the suicide person?
He's the guy that leapt like 40 metres off the cliff because he was a bit upset about something.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good. Pass the test.
Yeah.
You can stay.
He makes it to the cube test. She's like, she's feeling understandably like freaking out because she feels like she's to blame. I kid you not, and this is where things got kind of really weird. Ezekiel says, "Oh no, you know, it happens," and then leads her by her neck, and he's got like this sink in his office. Earlier in the episode, you see him just like put his face in the water and just chill out there for a bit, which is kind of weird, but okay, whatever. He's got some kind of thing where he almost drowns himself as a coping mechanism.
Well, to be fair, that's quite common.
It's powerful imagery, but kind of weird to watch. Anyway, he does that to her, and she doesn't realise it until he's like led her to the sink and goes kersplosh.
And he drowns her.
Almost, right? So, and that's exactly. Dan's looking kind of shocked right now.
I love the fact this isn't visual, so you have to explain that. Luke is looking vacant in the corner.
Just so you know. Yeah, Ofsted ladies understand him like, what the heck are you doing,
This is going to
Ezekiel?
affect your league table standards.
Very much so. And then he like pulls her up at the last second and he's like, I do this every day to remind myself, but what we do is between life and death. And it's like the most BS answer he could have given. Anyway, she walks out, freaked out, to begin with, like, understandably, get out girl and run.
Yeah, back to space heaven.
And then she comes back 30 seconds later and gives like the most, propaganda cult of personality-ish thing ever. She goes, oh, what you showed me while drowning me just now is more than I could have learned in 30 years of experience. Thank you. And she does like a little like hands together thing and just like walks off.
So they put soul in a pentagram on the floor.
It just feels like it just kind of feels like very thinly veiled analogies to like learning processes of like, yeah, you're gonna have to suffer and then you'll come out the other side, and like the rich 3% deserve to be like I don't know.
It doesn't appeal to doesn't appeal to Dan, but he's got strong opinions.
It's not that it doesn't appeal to. It just sounds a bit. I don't know.
But you want to find out, don't you? You're like, what the heck is this? I must know more.
A good pilot does leave questions unanswered.
Yeah.
Because it makes you watch the next one, but it needs to be good enough that you watch the next one. If it's a crappy question, then you don't care.
I just don't understand. So why do the people know that they want to go there?
Watch episode 2.
Well, if you get the chance to like pass some tests and go from your clothes are like literally like a napkin and that's it. You know, you're proper. Okay, exaggerated televised poverty.
Is this a reusable napkin? Is this
Spoiler alert.
So yeah, it's got sort of the chance to like.
Because Costa napkins are quite small.
Go from poverty to like basically space heaven just by passing some tests. You want to, wouldn't you?
Did you find out what happened to people in space heaven?
We're not there yet.
Ooh.
I won't say what happens, but you do find out the identity of the mole by the end of the first episode.
Ooh.
Is it the guy in the hat in the corner?
It's the woman.
Not quite. I can't say. But the fact that you find out who the mole is like within the pilot, and you're like, oh snap!
It's a pretty bad mole then.
No, because like no one else knows but the viewer. Dramatic irony.
It's the woman.
That's it.
I'm just trying to make Gabe sweat to see if he's like, don't do spoilers on the podcast, Luke. It's the woman, isn't it, Gabe?
It's the sink.
Ofsted.
Ofsted. It's always Ofsted.
It's the woman, isn't it, Gabe?
So I mean, it sounds quite sort of.
I watched episode 2. That's how much I enjoyed it.
Well, okay. Well, so you're into it.
Yeah.
Marseille.
Okay, so put yourself in their shoes. Would you go through those tests?
If I was 20, yes.
Well, you're not far off 20.
Oh, well, yeah, I suppose I am.
Oh, thanks for reminding me.
If I was 20.
If I were 4 years younger.
Like a couple of years ago. But now, you know, my responsibilities are way too. I can't afford to be flying around space.
The last 4 years have been tough for Gabe.
We've aged considerably.
I'm not the man I once was.
Still not a man. Gabe not impressed with the joke.
you got to narrate it. You have to narrate what happens visually.
It's pretty deep. Okay, for the viewers, Gabe just looked like he got slapped.
Wounds may have
Verbally.
been inflicted to your boy.
Okay. So okay, you're in a napkin in a Brazilian favela.
Yeah. Paint a picture.
I'm presuming like
YouTube
I'm
animatics, get on this.
I'm presuming this napkin has been passed down from your family.
I mean, napkin might not have been the right word, but
It definitely is.
Why don't people just steal the cubes and use them as clothing if all they've got is napkins?
You don't just get to steal the cubes. God.
haven't you even watched the show?
It just sounds like a very strange
The
concept.
cheek of some people coming into our test centre stealing our cubes.
It does kind of feel like you've described a job centre.
Yeah, that was my feeling when he said it at the start. It's like people line up at the test centre. I was like,
Only
only
3% will be rewarded with some kind
people without a job
Yeah.
go into a centre where they have an interview, and if they don't pass that interview, they go back to poverty.
Yeah, they're let out on a bridge.
So wait, are you telling me I enjoyed watching Brazilian Job Centre, but in the future, more than I enjoyed watching Marseille?
Yeah.
What does that say about Marseille?
You didn't
Not
like
much.
hearing French.
You're not particularly a francophone.
But I love job centres. We've learned that this week.
As long as there's fun games to play with. Have you been to the doctors? They've usually got a kids' corner, like with like little toy things. They're quite fun.
I'm not gonna lie, I did enjoy it the last time I went.
No, it is actually quite fun taking the girls to the doctors because you get to play with them with the girls rather than just sit there watching them to sick people.
Yeah, okay, I'll just take myself to the doctors.
But no, obviously when you're sick. I mean, not just generally.
But yeah, but Luke's rhymes are always sick.
No, I'll just pop for God's sake, I'll just pop up to the doctors like, yeah, I'm not actually ill, I'm just here because, you know, this was recommended.
Well, yeah, that would
The
look
sick
weird.
games
I mean,
were
of course that
recommended
would look
to me.
weird.
I don't know, I reckon I could spin it so you look weirder for recommending it than I do for standing up.
Find out next week with Du Bois. Du Bois been doctors. The sequel.
Yeah, that is not a topic for next week.
Wow. But yeah, that was the 3%. What should I watch next week, guys?
Oh, well...
Well, I'm guessing you're probably going to watch the following episodes.
Well, that's
yeah,
true.
but that's cheap, come on.
Yeah, we want something.
You
something
can't
fresh.
just be like, oh, follow
Well,
up.
I want to find out how
He's
his
already watched the next
how his
one.
claim gets processed.
Look, here we go, we got good here.
I can let you know the finale if I make it.
They bring him back a series of unfortunate events.
Oh, it's been brought back.
You know what? I was.
It's
Oh
been
yeah,
sick.
2017, mate.
It's been sick. I've been
Oh, you've
keeping
been
up
watching
to
it? Alright,
Yeah.
well you can't do that then.
I
It's,
was-
it's too good.
No, I was looking at this. So I have never liked this show.
Lost in Space, FYI.
No, like
Don't spoil it, Luke.
no, because
The viewers didn't know. And by viewers, I mean listeners.
There was like an original film and show in like the 50s or 60s that was pretty tame, and then they did another reboot with I think Matt LeBlanc in like the 90s or the early 2000s that was really cheesy.
Only good in Friends.
Yeah, it's barely good in that, wasn't it?
Oh,
I'm sorry, was he your
dreams
favourite?
crushed.
Was he your favourite?
He was not. I get likened to Chandler Bing more than anyone else.
To be fair, you do look a bit like John.
Not looking, more like acting, but okay.
But yeah, it's actually supposed to be good. The new one. I've had a few people tell me it's pretty good. So
Wait.
I'm voting for Lost in Space.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah, I mean,
I'll go with
when
that.
one person votes for something, if I vote against it, it kind of just blows this whole thing out the
Cancels
water, doesn't
out,
it?
doesn't
So,
really? No, but I mean,
Lost in Space.
You could suggest an alternative.
I know.
You could win me over.
Well, to be fair-
pulled up a list, and yeah, that looked pretty good. The only other options here that I would say, unless you've already seen them, 13 Reasons Why and Money Heist. But the rest of them are like Black Mirror, Jessica Jones, Orange is the New Black. So
I'm not watching 13 Reasons Why.
okay,
I've been, to be fair, my sister recommended Lost in Space, so it is
Did she?
it's trending among 11-year-olds.
Well, that's probably the target audience. I mean,
might be lacking one Gerard Depardieu,
it
who
will.
I hear you're a big fan of.
Yeah.
Well, you can't always get what you want, but if you try sometimes, you just might find. You can get a.
You fall off a sky bridge.
I was going to say you get a podcast from Du Bois.
Gabe dabbed.
Yeah, he did. He's doing that a lot recently.
Your fault.
It's my new favourite thing.
Okay, so you're gonna review Lost in Space. for us next week?
I will have a look at Lost in Space next week.
Okay, so overall, what would you give the 3%?
3%.
Out of 7.
Out of 7.
No, no.
Out of 7.
I thought we were doing have 10.
Did we rate Marseille? We didn't rate Marseille.
No,
Four out
that's
of
You're gonna
10.
you're gonna have to do a double. Oh, did you rate Marseille?
Yeah.
4 out
Oh,
of
okay.
10. That's generous.
It was kind of a bit but it wasn't like bad enough to be like, oh, 1. That's notably bad. I would rate 3% as a pilot 7 out of 10.
Pretty good.
30%
I wouldn't
less
get you in.
to make it.
That obviously
What
wouldn't
was
get you
the-
in.
I'm not in the 3%.
Where were the 3 points lacking? Less suicide episode 1, please.
More shapes.
I'd rather 10 cubes for the test.
Throw in a few trapeziums.
Well, 10's like perfect, isn't it? It's like
Yes.
it couldn't have gone any better. I have
Yes.
to watch the next episode. On rewatching, oh my gosh, wow. Alright, I'll bump it up to an 8 for that.
Oh,
Because it was really good. I did rewatch it, and I did enjoy
you rewatched
rewatching.
episode 1?
I did.
Oh,
I watched it twice.
I do want to do like a rewatch every week. Because if I watch it once, I might not be giving it my full.
too busy watching anime on the side.
Yeah. I did see a really good anime last night.
What did you see?
Hang on, it's really bad because I can describe it.
You said
I think
it was really good.
I think it was called Megalobox.
Oh, we described this earlier. Apparently there's like a big robot wars.
That is
Isn't
not
that
what
all
I said. That is not what I said at all.
Something along those lines.
Add in like
I'm not very attentive.
No, nonsense. I mean, you've been passing more of the test centres questions than Dan over here. So at least Luke's in the top 20%. Maybe you're not the top 3. Like and subscribe if you think you're in the 3%.
So I said what kind of like Robot Wars. Now you tell us what it actually is, and we'll see how different it is from kind of like Robot Wars
Okay, so it's an anime around underground boxing
with robots.
where they've got like exoskeleton arms.
Oh, come on.
oh, so the people were inside him.
Kind of. So like, it's boxing, but their arms have got like robot bits.
You said the word robot. That's 1 out of 2 words that I said.
So if you had like,
50%.
so if me and Luke had like robotic arms, and we're in an underground like fight club ring.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Okay.
If either of you have watched Cowboy Bebop, that's absolutely fine.
Sounds like a terrible attempt at beatboxing.
It's
Cowboy people.
What was the film with the guy Wolverine? Hugh Jackman?
Oh, I got vibes of when I was described it. I was like, oh yeah, so kind of like the Rock'em Sock'em Robot movie with Hugh Jackman.
Rock'em Sock'em. That was in the trailer, wasn't it?
It was not, but it should have been.
You've been
That would have
influenced.
sold me. But no, I found it surprisingly good. Like, interesting characters. It had a little bit of like lo-fi hip-hop as the soundtrack, which is a bit different.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't Chosen One Kamehame laser beam.
I didn't
Why are you
understand.
mugging off Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, I mean,
To be fair, not that I'm even a fan of Dragon Ball Z.
there's a lot of Gundam people out there that's probably quite upset right now.
Well, that might be true, but what I quite liked were the fight scenes were well choreographed boxing scenes.
Uh-huh.
So it was like, okay, yeah, pat, 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 pow.
Okay, and what's this called again? Megalobox.
Megalobox,
Megalobox.
like Megalo.
Okay. Is this a film?
This is a TV series,
Yeah.
anime TV series,
Okay.
set in, I guess, the future.
Yeah.
Also, where there's a nice city where all the citizens live, and scummy desert town, which is where everyone else lives.
Wait a minute. Is Megalobox space heaven? Maybe that's what they're doing with the people. Maybe they pass the test. They fit them with augmented arms, and then they gamble on them.
Dan's trying way too hard to connect two things which are in no way related.
Robot Wars.
Just saying. Sergeant Bash should be out.
Yeah.
That's the summary.
So it's like this skilled boxer who makes money by basically throwing fights in underground boxing rings.
Yeah.
He's good, so he can kind of take being beaten up and acting like, oh yeah, snap, pop.
Yeah, but surely if you've got like a massive mech arm and I hit Luke in the face.
I'd be dead.
Yeah, there's not much getting up from that, is there? I mean, blocking's pretty important.
You see an anime, right?
That's a fair point.
Yeah,
Like there's all these animals running around and there's a mouse that has electric.
Point taken.
yeah. So you got to suspend a few rules.
I
to
might have been
disbelief.
out of the anime loop then.
I think you may have.
There's a little kid who's master of 4 elements, right?
I tell you what as well. Getting back, have you ever seen this Roadrunner? I don't understand how gravity works with him.
I feel like Dan's missing the inherent appeal of a cartoon. The animation.
It's just not realistic enough, is it? Where's the graphics? Where's the CGI?
It doesn't obey quantum physics.
Such a
This
low.
is why you didn't like Lord of the Rings. You were like, spells, get out.
Exactly. Gandalf, you idiot.
Orcs, maybe they live underground. I don't know, though I've never been there. But spells.
Unless they spell out how it works for you, Dan's not interested.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, orcs are repressed people, and Gandalf will be a cult leader.
One TV show I do want to hear about is Archer. How did that go?
Oh yeah.
I did not enjoy it.
Oh, that's upsetting.
That's
Has it been declining? Because I didn't see the World War II one. It was World War II, wasn't it, previous to this?
So it's been like dream sequence series.
Yeah, because he got done in, didn't he?
Yeah, I love the season where Lana had Aubergine, which is their daughter,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of Archer having to deal with that. And then
Yeah, that was the one where he died.
Yeah.
and then
Well,
after that, it's
no.
kind of just been a bit like.
See, I haven't seen that latest.
It's felt like they played a bad game of D&D and tried to animate it,
Yeah.
but they haven't given us any context.
Yeah.
So like you guys tell me, but when I watched it, I was like, who is this? What's going on? I don't understand anything. Why is Krieger?
Reynard.
Why is Reynard?
That's what it says. Yeah, I've not seen it.
You've not seen it?
No.
No, I haven't seen it yet.
So you know how we said we were all going to watch Archer?
We say a lot of things. Like
I-
Robot Wars. It turns out to be mech arms.
You hear a lot of things.
A lot of things get said.
No, I was making tunes.
I kind of have life dealing with things.
Alright, that's the biggest lie that's been said on this podcast.
Once again, your boy looks hurt.
No, I did need to go around to watching it, and I will because I do enjoy Archer.
Yeah,
but
same.
it's
Shall we shall we shelve episode
No, I
one for
want to
next
hear
week?
about it.
yeah, I do too as well because I like it
Now I
as a
can
show.
pose questions. We can be the questioners on behalf of the listeners.
Yeah.
Listeners,
Because people want to know.
Yeah.
This is
triple Z, triple threat, triple subscribe, triple likes with the boys.
You just can't.
triple cringe.
No containing you sometimes.
Okay, so
Give Gabe a microphone and watch him go.
Ya boy, da boy, and my boy, all reviewing that boy Archer.
it's like watching Lee Westwood.
Can we leave? Gabe has captured us. Please send help. He's dabbing.
The number's 555.
Comment what you think you should do to get your friends out after you like and subscribe.
For God's sake.
So yeah,
That moment is not on YouTube and you can't like or subscribe.
please help us on Patreon. Set us account up for us.
I'm trying.
So tell us.
I'm trying.
So tell us about Archer. You didn't like it.
Nah, I wasn't.
Good.
Well, that's that review done and dusted. Clap,
I'm
clap.
glad we come full circle on that. So mainly it just doesn't make sense.
It feels like it doesn't make sense. They're on some kind of island somewhere.
I want to pose to you the same question I did to Dan. What part of an animated series do you feel like it has to make sense, especially one like this?
No. I'll take this one. Because
You've not seen it.
No, I'm just saying the show. So the show does try to create some kind of sense of order. It doesn't work like a normal animated show. Like even BoJack Horseman, like they can do crazy stuff, but Archer has.
I feel like
bionic Russian woman.
No, but that's in the cast, and that's.
I feel like Dan's chatting horse poop over here.
Are you telling me it doesn't?
Archer in space. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, BoJack was a really
They
bad
got
way to
shrunk
compare
down.
it, Dan.
so like
Maybe.
a tiny amount. Like it's still a bit pushing boundaries.
Okay, I'll admit.
What I mean is, you go in and you're like, Ray's this person, Krieger's the crazy scientist person, Archer's the secret agent,
Yeah.
Pam and Cheryl are like that double act. You know, they've got roles and personalities and characters you've gotten to know over like 7 seasons.
Yeah.
This season, the voice actor and the looks kind of the same, but nothing else. Krieger is a parrot now, and that's like the most logical of all the character
The
decisions.
whole point is it is within Archer's brain, and he is a bit crazy. So
Yeah.
that's part of the dream sequence, which is where I come in again with it is an animated show. Where did you not expect it to be a little bit crazy?
I guess that's
Yeah.
true, and it does pose a
especially
lot of questions.
Archer's brain series, like,
Yeah, I mean, he does drink a lot, but
I don't know.
and it's kind of like meant to be funny. I imagine from this is his view of the world. This is what he actually thinks Krieger is.
this is what he sees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might be I just came into it from a wrong angle, guys. This is what happens when you have only one person watch a show. Is you only get my take on the show. Luke dies, and then you only get 2 people to watch the show. So yeah, I
Get what I'm laughing at.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
Yeah.
so
Well, I mean, yeah.
not great.
Well, I
Thus
thought
far.
Not my favourite.
We'll try. We'll watch it this week.
We'll try. I like the fact you snuck in a "we'll try" there.
Well, things happen, you know.
I appreciate the backup.
Plausible deniability.
Womp womp.
In games, didn't get much of a chance to look at it, but God of War, cinematic as hell, looks fantastic.
When you say didn't get much of a chance, did you look at it at all?
Have you bought it?
Yeah, I did a little bit. I haven't bought it yet, but I am going to at some point. So I'll be able to go more in depth maybe in a later episode, but it looks super, super good.
I have heard that it's been called Dad of Boy by some.
Dad of Boy.
Yeah.
I mean, from what I have seen of it, he's
I hear
the most
Kratos-
affectionate father.
I hear Kratos says the word boy an awful lot.
The trailer doesn't show him in his most fatherly lines, does it?
No, it's like the opening sequence is sort of like, spoiler alert. Unlike you, I will do this before I say anything that's happened.
People watch pilots, they don't know.
So like you're chopping down a tree to create like what they call like a pyre when someone's died and you put them on there, burn it.
Good.
So Kratos' current wife has died and he's with the kid chopping down a tree, and then creates that pyre, burns the wife, and then they just go to walk off into the mountain without her. Like, it shows no remorse, and she wants her ashes spread atop like a mountain, and he's now in Midgard somehow.
Yeah.
The old Norse mythologic place. Definitely a word. And and it sort of starts with him being like, go hunt a deer, and then the kid just sort of turns around and is like, oh, are we hunting deer? And he's like, no, you are hunting deer. I'm like, oh.
I feel like he's really internalised his loss.
Yeah.
That said, less of a god of war, but maybe not yet a god of parenting.
No, probably.
Pretty much.
He's suffering a bit, isn't he? He definitely needs a psychologist.
But yeah, one thing that kind of still leaves me a bit confused is that the world, because obviously the original 3 were about him getting revenge on the Olympians and sort of slaughtering pretty much all the gods. And as you were doing that, slowly the world just falls into chaos because you kill Poseidon, no one's controlling the seas. You kill Hades, no one's controlling the underworld.
Yeah, but I mean, is this like the free market? I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's,
Well, leaves an opening, and
I'm just saying, like,
then all of Midgard can get in on it,
exactly.
and that's where he is now.
As much as I'm,
So that's
as
why I
much
was
as
like-
I've got some like socialist tendencies, like if you nationally control everything, then they stifle economies. So just let the seas control themselves.
Yes.
Only Dan would bring capitalism to God of War.
No, I'm just okay. So
It's not got an economic model, so it's not a very good go. Where's the sense of inflation?
Dan voice now.
Oh, I don't know the fact that I sound like a grumpy old.
It's not got proper representation, so it's a rubbish podcast. Well, I'm sorry that we're all white. Anyway, Dad of Boy, how you're looking forward to it?
I am looking forward to it. Like, graphically, it looks really, really good. Like the whole game's played over the shoulder of Kratos, so it's pretty much always from his perspective, and there's no camera cutaways from it, so everything cinematic will happen as you play through.
Straight through, no sudden
So it's not going to be one of those things where it's like this. What you see on the trailer is not what you see in the game.
Well, I mean, that's like most games, which is usually right at the bottom they say not actual game footage. Have you ever seen a FIFA trailer?
No, of course, that's what I mean. That's what I thought you were saying.
Pick up the game like, oh, look at how intense and dynamic this is. Play the game bird's eye view about 1,000 feet up in the air.
Exactly. That's what I was about to ask. I was like, well, that's not going to be true when you get in the game. Is
No,
it?
in the game it's purely over the, like, because I watch gameplay for it, like it's purely over the shoulder and you're watching like the kid run around.
It's a bit like Ratchet and Clank.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, strange comparison, but alright, we'll go there.
In terms of like third person action, over the shoulder. I speak sometimes. I'm Gabriel, and I'm a boy. One of the boys.
Shut up.
Just a little cheeky bit of like branding.
Gabriel, just dab and bring it to a close.
Every time it's finished with a dab. Just first thing you do, dab, and then it stops.
Well, I could be dabbing right now. You don't know. Dab. So I'm looking forward to hearing about it. It should be good.
But yeah, other than that, it looks like a pretty standard God of War game in terms of you're going to be killing other gods. So
What's he got against all the other gods?
banter. Their banter's awful. No, so his original wife was sort of like, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I played the first one. I think it was like he was tricked into killing his wife and daughter by Zeus, and then that's why he kind of wanted to get revenge on Zeus, and then he like gathers all the Olympians to defend himself. And then he, like Kratos being the God of War, just goes through one by one, slaughtering them all.
Not gonna lie, that is terrible banter.
Pretty bad, yeah.
I told you, I'm not wrong.
You killed your wife.
But in the new one, there's like I imagine Kratos gets a little bit more.
He seems more mellow.
Well, yeah.
He
Like,
seems more mellow.
I mean, if you go for it,
he definitely does. To be fair, in the originals, it was just like, I'm coming for you, I'm gonna kill you, Zeus. But now it's a little bit more like, you undo.
So he's more like the god of a little bit upset.
no, he's
A little bit upset.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine if someone did what Zeus did to him to you. Like, you'd be pretty like miffed. I'm not allowed to swear, alright, I needed a word.
Your anger level goes through.
I'm so miffed right now with you, Zeus.
Aggravated or miffed.
But in the new
when
one,
Bance is not classic, you
there's
get
like
miffed.
it's like a little subtle storyline
And then you get
going on.
mythical.
That you can't. That if you're a god, you need to know you're a god, or else you get sick. So because Zeus has this kid who is technically a god, but he doesn't know he's a god, he gets ill,
Yeah.
and then eventually he finds out that he is a god, and then becomes like this ultra cocky little kid. So he's like taking out a couple like Norse gods that I saw a clip of him like shooting arrow at him. He's like, "Come back here," and expletives.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, yeah, come back here, you myth." So yeah. Looks pretty cool. Apparently you can go to a bunch of different realms within Norse mythology. I believe there's
So
9.
is it okay? Because I've never played a God of War game. So is it basically a little bit
No,
like
that-
Skyrim where it's just
No, it's not like Skyrim at all.
well, no, I mean just like open world, like where you can
yeah, no, I know, that's what I mean. It's not like that at all.
Oh, okay.
It's a
It'll
linear
be,
game.
It'll be more linear than that.
Also, stop punching the table. It's not the table's fault you haven't played God of War.
Like, from what I've heard, there are like side, what are they called? Heims, because I know it's like Homenheim and all that kind of stuff. Like
Side
realms
heims.
in Norse mythology.
You
So
get down with the lingo.
all the side heims, there are some side heims that you can go to, but I'm afraid that some of them are off the table for the game entirely.
Yeah, but there are good times in the side heims
Oh my god.
with these sick rhymes. I think you'll find next week.
Just dab. Thank you.
Stop it with the lines. Well,
But yeah, I'm pretty chuffed to play it. So
I actually did see the trailer and it does look good. I mean, I don't know anything about it.
not
but
actual gameplay footage.
Yeah.
yeah, the not actual gameplay footage looks amazing.
Dan is hyped by that.
Yeah, it takes me back to my own father.
Join me next
father
week
issues.
about how I couldn't afford to buy and play God of War.
That's why we need the Patreon set up, guys.
Yeah, anyone would like to do that, please help me.
Gabe, you just need money so we can like prevent you from dabbing. Like.
I just need money. I mean, I'll take that phrase.
You know what I mean?
I'll take that as a catchphrase. I just need money.
I just need me some dollars.
When you're,
Daniel,
Yeah,
how are you?
I'm good.
What
I'm
you
good.
got?
I'm feeling like I'm not watching Archer. I'm not playing God of War. I'm not. There's
Not
obviously
really
lots-
doing much fun.
No, things have been tough.
How's dad life been?
Dad life.
Yeah, it's not,
Not
dad
dad
life.
It's not. I'm going to be honest. It hasn't been as bad as Kratos.
No.
So I can't really moan.
Oh wait, our own resident god of dad,
Oh,
Dan Clark.
yeah. It's been okay. One of the girls has been a bit sick, so
Oh,
yeah.
On a sick one.
No.
this is not how sickness
One of
works.
the gals has been on a sick one.
I mean, it depends what your interpretation of on a sick one is, but up at 4 a.m. covered in vom. I mean, maybe. Depends.
Luke's been on a sick one until 4 a.m.
I've been feeling pretty ill.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe potentially, but no, it's been a bit rough. So I haven't really had a lot of time, but yeah, it's been alright. I don't know. I've been looking at a lot of the this.
Okay, shall we like take it down a few notches? Get real heavy, get real serious.
Get real
I
heavy.
don't know, either that or you could talk about what's a standard unit of measurement. Although, while we're on light-hearted topic, let's go with Infinity War aired this week.
Oh yeah. Let's talk
Gabe.
about that. Because then we can talk about.
I haven't seen it yet.
No, but your segment you wanted to bring up.
Yeah, mine's more of like a complete tangent from Infinity War. But you know how since Iron Man, pretty much every comic book / superhero / larger than life CGI action film has been based on like a Marvel or DC property.
Yeah.
I was thinking there must have been a few which aren't. So I had a little look on IMDb and other places.
Yeah.
And it turns out that while a great many quote unquote original TV and film sort of series exist which aren't based on like comic books, a lot of them from the 80s. And I was like, okay,
Good song.
well, I guess you could go into the whole, oh yes, superheroes, it was all about, selling merch.
They're not YouTubers.
Maybe they were the original YouTubers.
Buy the merch.
I think it was more like lunchboxes and like little.
Yeah,
figurines.
merch. Pre-YouTube
Just keep
merch.
saying merch and it makes sense. Yeah, merch.
You've been
merch.
reading way too much like marketing lingo.
A little bit of merch.
I read a word and I want to use it.
A bit of merch.
But yeah, there had been a few like original the original merchandise, true, but no non-comic book related superhero films. First of which I can't believe it didn't come to me, The Incredibles.
Yeah, I was about to throw you the curveball with The Incredibles.
Was The Watchmen?
No, The Watchmen was completely based off of a deconstruction of comic books by Frank Miller.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But no, like
but that was based off a comic book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Incredibles, Unbreakable, which is one of M. Night Shyamalan's more famous films. Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson.
No, I know. I was just laughing at him like Shyamalan.
There's a few other classics.
Megamind.
Yeah.
Mainly cartoons.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of these fill into that specific kind of catalogue, don't
Yeah.
they? Like modern sort of cartoon.
Slightly older one, The Specials, which was written by James Gunn, so the guy behind Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mystery Men.
So
That's a really good film.
That's the first I've ever seen of that photo, and now all of a sudden the Smash Mouth music video for that song makes sense.
Yeah, that's right. Have you seen Mystery Men?
I've not. Fill us in. Tell us about the Mystery Men.
It's so good.
What is the Mystery Men?
Well, the lead singer from Smash Mouth goes to a party and they're trying to find a new superhero, and then he throws someone out of the way, and then all of a sudden it's like. Dun, 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 dun. At least that's the film I've seen. I don't know about you, Dan.
This is true.
It's basically it, yeah. So it's Derek Zoolander in his ulterior skin.
Oh, Ben Stiller.
Ben Stiller, yeah. And who's the guy? Is it not Willem Dafoe or is it
Willem Dafoe.
You know the one I mean. That guy.
Yeah, not Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Droopy the dog.
Yeah, he does.
Droopy the dog.
He's always
Not actually.
He was in Pleasantville, I'm pretty sure. Tom Waits. I don't know. He's not on there or anything. But anyway, it's quite a fun movie. And it's basically Ben Stiller is Mr. Furious. And his special power is that he's extremely furious. But there's some amazing sort of scenes in it, and it's quite a funny film. Like one of the best characters is the Shoveler.
The Shoveler.
The Shoveler. And he's basically a guy that goes to work 9 to 5 as like an accountant.
What a way to make a
And he
living.
comes home like he's very sweet. He's got a little boy that's like 2.5,
Yeah.
and he's the mini shoveler, and he's got like a little garden trowel.
Okay. Or do they just go out and do digging?
No, but that's the point. They
Do
go out.
digging.
They go out. It's like a
Try and
ragtag.
imagine.
It's a ragtag group of normal people that just have their own persona, and they go out to try to do good. But most of the time, they go to the cafe, have a cup of tea, and like walk around the streets and pick up litter.
Real life Batman.
Yeah, but then something happens and they have to actually become superheroes. Like there's I can't remember I think the Blue Raja is the British guy that dresses up as like a mystic man and he throws spoons. And it's one of the guys is like, why don't you throw knives? He's like, I don't want to hurt anyone. I've maybe got a fork I can throw. But it's a really funny film.
Sounds quite sweet in its own little way.
It's definitely really worth a watch. There's the invisible boy
Yeah.
who's only invisible when you don't look at him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wow.
which is a brilliant superpower. Or the spleen, I think.
The spleen.
The spleen.
That sounds like that could be quite grim.
He's pretty grim. His skill is basically horrific flatulence.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
I've been in a room with you, Dan.
oh, that's harsh. Especially when you know Tom. But yeah, it's definitely worth a watch. Mystery Man. But anyway, sorry, better continue.
Mask of Zorro popped up.
Yeah.
Banging set of films.
Zorro must be a cartoon though.
Dan, are you telling me you don't know that Zorro is a live action film?
Yeah, of course I know Zorro is a live action film, but like...
Do you know who Antonio Banderas is?
Antonio Banderas. Yeah.
Sorry, who was that?
Was
Was that an impression?
that was my Antonio Banderas. Did it come across quite dusky?
I think my favourite one on this list of films about superheroes not made by Marvel or DC is Condor Man.
Condor Man.
Condor Man.
Okay.
Condor Man is a mostly forgotten film that was one of Disney's first forays into the superhero film genre.
Oh wow.
Good thing that they improved.
What was his superhero skill?
Was he just a condor?
Condor. when a female spy from the KGB is on the run, Wilkins becomes his comic strip creation in order to help her defect.
To be fair, that's not really keeping it under wraps, is it? I mean, you're dressing as a giant bird.
Batman.
That's not Batman.
But he's bigger than a bat.
Birdman. Oh wait, that's a critically acclaimed film.
I'm just trying to point out. I don't want to get like, it's not realistic, but like.
I mean, when you're saying he dresses as a big bird, I mean, then you're sort of dealing with like Batman also glides across the night sky, Vulture, Falcon,
Yeah.
a lot of gliders out
Yeah,
there.
but there's a big difference between that, and the point is that's broad daylight.
Spider-Man, red and blue,
That's broad.
in broad daylight.
That's broad daylight, and he's got like a 15-foot wingspan. Like, you're not gonna miss it, and he's trying to sneak a KGB agent
Are
away.
you telling me you think Iron Man is subtle? With the gigantic building in the middle of Manhattan.
No, but he doesn't need to be subtle, does he? That's the point. Like, he's got,
To be fair, the entire punchline at the end of the film, or the truth is, I am Iron Man.
Condor
Legend.
Man does not strike me as the kind of person that has extensive resources.
Well, let's be honest.
You don't
Dan.
know that. Have you seen the film?
Yeah.
No, to be fair, but
You could watch
Bruce
it for
Wayne's
next
alter
week.
ego.
Bruce Wayne.
this is his first try.
Condor
He
Man.
was originally afraid of condors.
But then they went extinct and he's fine.
Isn't that a step up from an albatross in golf, a condor? I feel like it is.
No.
I don't know why.
An albatross is a...
I feel like it's a birdie, an albatross, then a condor.
No.
You sure?
Yeah. I played Tiger Woods like 2
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. An albatross is a hole in one.
No, it's not.
An eagle's a hole in
An
two.
albatross is a -2.
I'm out of my depth.
I'll wait for him to get back.
No, it's alright, you guys move on.
There we go.
No, I'm still looking.
I was gonna.
No, don't get me wrong, I'm still.
An albatross is a hole in one. But
Okay, so -3, so.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about eagle.
you said eagle. You said birdie, eagle, albatross.
So I'm right then.
No, you're
Birdie
not.
-1,
There's
eagle
no
-2.
condor.
But you just said albatross was a hole in one.
It is.
Oh yeah, no, I thought Condor was -4.
The Horn of Condor.
Chatting again.
Oh, Albatross is a hole in one. It says -3.
Let him have this. Let Luke be our golf boy.
Condor is the name of an American golf manufacturer, but most notably, the label is given to an extremely rare, almost impossible score of 4 under par from a single hole. You can't see it, but Dan is currently crying.
Thank goodness for audio description.
I'm actually just checking that you weren't the author of this article.
Cannot confirm nor deny. Did either of you two watch Heroes when it was originally aired?
No, I did not.
Oh.
No, wasn't the guy from Star Trek in that?
Yeah, so that was how he made his big debut. Sorry to completely
That's fine.
go off topic from golf.
I mean, we're back on the topic we were meant to be on.
Please take us away from golf.
Dan's secret shame.
embarrassed.
Yeah.
Albatross is a hole in one. Hole in one's a hole in one.
It's a bird, it's not a golf stroke.
Who names a golf stroke Condor?
It's not a golf stroke, it's a 4 under par, it's a score.
Let me just get Alice Cooper online too. Jesus can't save you from your lacking in golf knowledge, Dan.
Clearly Tiger Woods 08 isn't up to date.
It's not, I'm going to wait till I get into hold of EA. I mean, they're in enough trouble as it is.
Stop tapping the table, Dan.
But yeah, so Heroes. What
Yeah,
do
it
you want
was-
to talk about Heroes?
It was the show which got Zachary Quinto, who's now quite famous for being in Star Trek, kind of on the map, the radar, on the level. But yeah, the idea was, what if, one day a bunch of schmoes finds out that after a solar eclipse, oh, they got superpowers, and just follows them around. Some of them want to be heroes. Some of them are like, oh, this sucks.
Oh, this is the guy who goes around, spoiler alert, killing people, isn't it?
This is the spoiler alert guy who goes around
Spoiler
killing
alert,
people.
is that-
Although, to be fair, it's very quite generic spoiler, but yeah, the tagline which got loads of people into it was, oh yeah, save the cheerleader, save the world.
Yeah, what was
Which
it?
it-
Panettiere? Something? That's her name in it? Like,
Hayden Panettiere or
yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
It was a star-making turn for a lot of people. The first series was great. Critics loved it. Audiences loved it. I loved it too. Not that matters. But no, it was a solid little show. It had some good characters. It had a bit of mystery going on. Christopher Eccleston guest starred for like a couple of episodes and was
Christopher Eccleston.
he was characteristically grumpy. But the trouble was like any long-running superhero or show which essentially wants to be a comic book, it runs into the other issue of long-running things like that, is how do we up the stakes and make things more convoluted?
I'm sure we won't see that problem after Infinity War.
Well, that I can't tell that.
You've already bought it on Infinity. Where can you go?
I don't know whether or not that's sarcasm or sincerity, but only time will tell, and it will tell that you were right.
Another good series, actually, where you mentioned that, reminded me of it, is Misfits.
Oh yeah, Misfits.
Oh, that was
Fallen
really
back
good.
Really, really good until Nathan left.
Yeah.
He was was like the main character pretty much.
Yeah.
That was a fantastic show.
Yeah.
I love that in sequel.
I saw a trailer recently though. Are they trying to reboot it, or are they just launching a new season or something? now
I
after
don't
so
know.
long?
I like honestly, I genuinely gave up when Nathan left in between series because
Yeah.
he was what sort of made the show for me. Everyone else was a little bit like,
Yeah.
and then he was just hilarious. So
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to have like an end on stuff like that because it gets big, and obviously the people behind it are like, oh, this is going places, let's keep it going places, and
Well-
then you kind of don't have an ending in sight.
I'm trying to remember the name of the. No one would have seen that, but Luke here just went onto the group, the Misfits.
never happened, mate.
But yeah, do you guys
stop
feel,
looking at the laptop? You talk. I'm over
do you
here doing
guys
research.
feel like sometimes that happens quite a lot with TV shows, is they have a really strong like first couple of seasons and then something happens where it gets to a point and it's run out of steam, but they just keep going.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like they feel like they could have had a really nice strong this is the end. Like I hear Breaking Bad had a really strong this is the end.
Yeah, but they want to churn out more. It's like, this made us a lot of money, let's keep churning.
Yeah.
It kind of depends on the production house and the ideas. And the other thing as well, you look at that a lot of the time, the first season or the first run or whatever it might be will have one set of screenwriters. And then later on you'll have another set and they come in and try and take over. And
I suppose if you think, oh, we've only got enough funding or whatever to do this one solid season, and then it works, and we're like, oh, but we want more, the audience wants more.
how often do you have
Might
5
get
seasons
funding.
worth of script written for you? I mean, look at Game of Thrones, for instance. Like when they started making it, they already had like 5 or 6 books of material, so they could, they had a lot of stuff already done.
That had a lot of middle.
It did, but
And it was allegedly going to have an end.
But then you have stuff that you can work with. You can sit down and have conversations. This was terrible in the books. Let's not have that chapter. This character's a bit irrelevant.
Yeah.
Like we can cut them out, and that's fine.
So-
We're
it's
talking
not-
about original stuff here,
but-
Dan. Not
but-
based on books. Not
No,
based
but-
on
but-
comics.
but
That's why I'm
exactly.
leaving out anime.
yeah, we put in those in boxes. But that's what I mean. Like you don't have to be as creative, because it's more about elimination. Whereas if you then you've got to create your own thing.
It's about assimilation.
Yeah, it's about symmetry. But
At us, DB Weiss.
but then then it comes down to the creativity of the people. You, like, for instance, you said about 3%, right? You were reviewing 3%. You got like a couple of good pilot episodes, and it might go way off the rails, like 4 or 5 episodes in. So you need the material there.
That's Dan's 2 cents right there.
No, it's a lot harder to make good original stuff, isn't it? Because you want to continue it, like the Misfits, like things happen, like your favourite character leaves, or you try to spice it up. And it
Yeah,
just goes
but
wrong.
what's wrong with having a beginning, a middle, and an end? It doesn't always have to be a sandbox game. Sometimes linear is good.
Nothing is, Gabe. Nothing's wrong with it.
No. Yeah, no, nothing at all.
Nice bit of
Sort of.
affirmation.
Sort of topic out the blue.
Yeah.
But so recently I've lost 2 days, so Monday and Sunday.
You've lost 2 days.
No, the last 2 days, Monday and Sunday.
Okay.
I watched Lilo and Stitch,
Oh,
Yeah.
classic.
Aristocats,
Yeah.
Also classic.
and another Disney film that I've now forgotten. Robin
Robin
Hood.
Hood.
Yes, we had this conversation.
Yeah, we did.
Okay, and watching them, I'm like, classic music in them,
Mm-hmm.
good bit of fun. Some like dark storylines, Lilo getting shunned by her mates, just wants a friend, all that kind of stuff. But great films all in all.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, modern ones just seem a bit crap.
We gotten so far without you cussing.
That's not a cuss.
When you say modern ones, like you mean like Frozen
Newer ones.
or-
I don't know. Like I don't know whether that's just me getting older or whether I just feel like it's just not the same.
I think it's you getting older. I think like pretty soon you're going to be going to Indian restaurants and just ordering like chicken and chips, please. you're on that time tracker.
Wow. So if I'm on that time tracker, you're already there.
No.
Not just shots that are being fired.
I'm lucky if I get a chance to go out to a restaurant.
Wow. I think
No, but it's what you appreciate out of a film, isn't it? Like I think Lion King's pretty amazing, but looking back on it now when you watch it as an adult.
Yeah, but what about
What do you mean? It's a bit. Like, do you still not get like well said?
Yeah, but
Well said.
No, it's promotional. Isn't
yeah,
it?
but it doesn't have a strong economic policy, so Dan's not behind it.
No, it's not about the economics.
So, like,
Sorry, it's about the political leanings.
Like watching these films now, I'm older. I'm actually sitting there like this is really sad.
Yeah.
And like it actually gets me a little bit more than when I was a kid. I was just kind of like, oh, but it's fine because Simba will be all right in the end. And then I'd sort of just like get over it and be like, Hakuna Matata, and just move on.
One quick question. How did you work out your accent from when you were a kid? Because
I was more of a goon back then, so.
watching Lion King, oh, Mufasa.
Also lived in Essex, Oh, Mufasa, yeah.
No, of course it's sad that he dies, but I mean,
But
Dan doesn't
it's
like-
weird. Like it grips me more now when I'm older, and then watching that, I'm like, no, that's a really good film, and that actually had a really good story that I didn't appreciate as a child.
yeah.
And then I watch things like Frozen. I'm kind of like, nah, good songs,
Good songs.
but nah.
What about Moana?
Oh, I've actually not seen that.
That's
See, this is
supposed
the problem: is the more recent ones. I've seen some of them. And that's put me off the
Yeah.
other ones.
Moana
good
is supposed
things.
to be really
Yeah, I've heard good things about that.
I think it's
Is it
alright.
Lilo and Stitch? Redone.
No, it's not Lilo and Stitch redone. I think it's okay.
Okay.
I do see what you mean. It might be that again, I really love the 2D animation. I absolutely love Prince of Egypt is like almost a perfect film.
Just the music seemed to be better.
The music was strong and it wasn't all about churning out 1 or 2 hits by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. No offense to Dwayne, he's fantastic.
Well,
He
we're drawing
killed
back on
it.
that.
Vin Diesel hasn't got any hits, has he? From
Yeah, it's been a long time. You shouldn't laugh at that. It's sad.
No, I was at a party the other week, last week, and there was a grown man, probably about 40 years old, who was standing there, a little bit tipsy, telling us all how good Moana was because he watches with his daughter, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm not ashamed to admit I probably like it more than my daughter."
Was he ordering fish and chips?
No,
Was it chicken
he wasn't.
and
He was
chips?
actually eating pita bread and hummus, which is probably
Cultured.
a better analogy for him. But yeah, he like loved it, and quite a lot of the other parents in the room seemed to enjoy it. So I mean, it probably definitely shows that it does kind of move across a spectrum.
Probably, definitely.
Probably, definitely. Whereas Lilo and Stitch definitely was a solid film.
No, but it's a really sad story, wasn't it? Like Lilo and Stitch is like she gets a
Yeah, like she's getting
rough
done in by
spot.
her mates, and then she don't understand that if she keeps misbehaving for her sister, then she'll get taken away. So she
Yeah.
keeps misbehaving, acting out because she has no friends.
Yeah.
I think it might also be Lilo and Stitch is sort of, again, kind of 20th century, as in like this is a real thing that could be happening other than the aliens.
But that's the beauty of some of the Disney films, is that you are like, this is, some of them like they have like real topics that are just sort of there.
Yeah.
That like with like Frozen is the example that doesn't feel as
Grounded,
real.
maybe.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah, that's what I'd say. Is it's a little bit more like there.
And
Yeah,
weirdly
I-
enough,
yes,
I'd even say
yeah.
The Emperor's New Groove has its own kind of grounded relationship thing of, Kuzco thinks he's better than everybody, but he's
like-
just got to learn to get off his high horse.
Like even with something like Tarzan, like yes, the whole premise is a little bit far fetched, but it's like the relationship he has with the I forget her name now.
Monkeys.
No, yeah, but the one that like is his mum. Like he has like the relationship with her and then Turk and all those kind of things.
Oh.
And, like those relationships are very real.
Yeah.
That makes it seem a lot less far fetched.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but like you say, okay, so in Lilo and Stitch, her parents obviously she's being raised by her sister.
Yeah, because her parents
Like,
have passed
and,
away.
and there's the state is knocking on their door about to take her away, basically, if she misbehaves. You compare that to Frozen, where her parents were killed in a boating accident.
Yeah, supposedly they were the Tarzan parents.
Yeah. Oh, okay, whatever.
I
So,
mean,
but
that's
regardless,
different.
in both situations, the parents aren't there, and you've
Hmm.
got two. But in the first one, in Lilo and Stitch, it seems like a real, like it's more realistic in the way that it's portrayed. Like whereas in Frozen, it's just like
And it's
parents
weird
are
you-
gone.
weird
We're
you
just
say
gonna
that.
build a snowman.
Would you say that? Because an alien's involved in that one. Like,
Exactly.
I mean, in the other one there is like weird snow magic, but it's like
Yeah.
the Lilo and Stitch
There's no
hits me so much harder.
importance. There's no importance to it.
Yeah.
So
Is
there's-
it that like it's not really referred to back in the film? It's not something which is addressed a few times.
Well, you mean in Frozen?
Being the fact that they're both orphans isn't really as big of a thing.
Well, 'cause
Weirdly enough.
They don't
They
go
don't talk
into it too
about it.
much. It's
Yeah.
like a little bit where Lilo's sort of
Yeah.
talking to Stitch, who isn't responding. See, those are the moments as well. Is like Stitch never really responds. So the interactions between her, Lilo and Stitch, are a lot of the time her just talking to something that doesn't respond, or only responds by giving like looks like I have no idea what you're after.
Yeah.
And she just says like, "Oh yeah, I miss my parents. Where are yours?" And then he doesn't respond. He's like, "Oh, I know you miss them. That's why you destroy things all the time."
Yeah.
And then it's like, mine died in a car crash or something like that, and I was like, this is so sad. And then Stitch like takes the ugly duckling and like book and leaves, goes into the woods and just sits there and says, "I'm lost," and looks around for his family. And I was like, this is heartbreaking. But
then as well,
let's
like,
have the
you-
table.
Yeah, I know.
That's
Oh.
how emotional it is.
It's so
Come here.
he did not hug me.
No, but like that, like if you break down that scene, like as an adult, you could quite easily see that Stitch, if you had a child, was an emotional sort of construction of Lilo.
Yeah.
But whereas you look at Frozen now, you can't do the same.
No.
Like, isn't what is-
Olaf the snowman.
Exactly, it's not the same. Like
It doesn't hit me. It doesn't hit me as hard at all.
I feel like, as much as I might find some older Disney films pretty disturbing, like the donkey situations in Pinocchio and like weird like things, like they're at least real and they're hard hitting and there's emotional relevance and sort of weight. Whereas the modern ones don't seem to have any of it.
No.
Like they might be fun,
But
doing
I was
the
gonna
jumps
say,
and
but-
songs.
On the
But-
counter side of that, even the more fun old Disney films like Aristocats still are more fun to me than the current fun ones.
But that might be
that one I would
might
say is
be
due to
because of
generation.
generational drift and stuff like that.
You also say like none of the old ones were about like say churning out #1 banger tunes. The soundtrack was for the film. The story was a self-contained film story. It didn't have to be larger than life.
Yeah.
And it was quite tight personal things. So it wasn't like I have to go off and like do this thing to save my world. I have to. I mean, Frozen was a little bit more tight and personal, but there was still the kind of disconnect. We just want a Disney movie with heart and soul.
Yeah, that's
Heart and soul.
it doesn't really matter
Heart
like,
and
what the plot
soul.
is, as long as it's like real in some kind of sense. In
Love
terms
how
of
we're being
emotional
really
sense.
precise and technical and know our stuff. Heart and soul, like the Prince of Egypt.
Love with you.
But like, if you go back to like
Heart
Bambi, even Bambi has like a very strong real.
I wasn't that
consequence.
keen on Bambi.
Well, not many people are because
I
it's-
wasn't as a kid because
Yeah.
there wasn't too much like fun,
Yeah.
so that's why I never really
It
got
wasn't
into it.
too much fun.
No, but you know what I mean. Like it's like that one's real. Like sort of the sad moment in that hit me a lot harder than the other films because there's not really any major pick me up moments. Like at least in The Lion King, it's like when you're a kid, you can kind of move past the whole death scene because like straight after that, he's like by himself. He's like Hakuna Matata. And you're like, hey, no worries. All of a sudden, we're all
he's
good.
completely over his
Yeah,
morning
exactly,
period. He's
yeah.
been following
It's like, hey,
Kratos.
look, he's big now.
He's big now.
He's had a
Boy.
few bugs. He's away. He's a lad.
He's hanging out with the boys.
Yeah.
Don't stand downwind, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's a bit strange.
Do you see
how
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
you, as a kid, you can sort of brush over the sad moment, whereas Bambi, it's like intense. It's like so.
Yeah.
At least that's how it come across to me. Probably
Well,
because of the lack of speech. I don't know why. Not saying they don't speak, but
Well,
I'm
I mean,
saying
when
like
was
there was a
Bambi
little
made?
less
The
speech.
30s?
if I remember.
40s?
It wasn't
It's
the
a-
30s.
It's a different era, isn't it? So the whole point of Bambi was more of a non-verbal storytelling of like a young deer
This is Germany,
learning
and it's
to-
in Austria.
learning to walk on. You know,
So I'm just trying to get Dan the point that he's trying to draw.
If you can't see at home, Dan is currently just collapsing in his chair.
Germany annexing Austria. What?
It's like when he was talking about, it's got no economical points. It's just something you would do. You just draw on a larger picture. Were you going to draw on a larger picture somehow here?
No, not really.
I think Dan's resenting being painted in such broad strokes, like the current Disney film base.
I'm a little bit unsure about my potential image.
I should go away and watch something like Moana and give it a chance. But
Yeah.
every time I'm like, I'll watch a Disney film, it's like, alright, well, I've got so many great ones to choose from already. I kind of don't want to watch any of the new ones because I've already had bad experiences with them. It's like, if I go back, because I've already been on 3 in 2 days, I might watch a 4th tonight. But if I'm going to do that, likely be Hercules or 101 Dalmatians.
Oh, that's classic.
101 Dalmatians love Jasper and Horace and the Cockney slang that they have with each other. It's just
We've
one
already,
of my favourite
We've
things.
already had a chat about this.
Have you really?
About 101 Dalmatians.
Oh yeah, we might have done.
Yeah.
They're just fantastic
I just think
characters.
it's irresponsible pet ownership.
Oh yeah. See, drawing in the larger picture. Speaking about 101 Dalmatians the other day, he turns around and goes, "But how can they afford all those dogs?" And I was like, "You're not part of the story." He makes the song Cruella de Vil, gets all that money. pays for the dogs.
Yeah, but that happens after.
Yeah, that's once he has all the dogs.
But that's what I'm trying
Sell
to...
that hit
No,
record.
no. Okay,
Smash and grab.
Cruella de Vil.
you take on...
Cruella
They're struggling at the
de Vil.
beginning. They've got no money. They can barely feed themselves. They've got like, what, 2 dogs, 3 dogs, whatever. How many? A small number of dogs.
Bongo.
And then they take on 100 dogs. No increase in money. And then they're like...
Yeah,
wow.
they're like, alright, we'll make do. And then, do you want to know what? Hit single, Cruella de Vil.
Yeah, but they didn't
Pays
know
for
they
itself.
were going to have a quick single.
No, they didn't. You're right. It was irresponsible, but they smashed it.
Like, the reality is that, yes, the hit single saved them. But if that hadn't happened, 3 months down the line, quite a lot of those dogs are getting euthanized.
Also, can we draw back on that animated film point that we had before about?
I'd just
you
like
know,
to.
It's an animated film.
I'd just like to say for the record.
wait. You're right.
Just like to say for the
Robin
record.
Hood makes no sense, right? Because you've got this like rooster singing songs with a guitar.
Oh no, he's
what's
cool.
going on?
He's so cool.
Of course, he's cool.
He's so cool.
Dan
You've got
Clark,
Fox.
2K18
I-
on animated films. Yeah, but the reality of it is,
Don't even get me started on that on Little John. He's not even little. It makes no sense, and he's a bear. That's Baloo.
I had a friend at university that got the rooster like sat in the, you know when they opened the book and the rooster
Yeah.
sat in the lettuce, got him on his leg, and the guy went to him with a complete mash up of it and gave him like a rock band guitar. It didn't even look like, it didn't even look like a chicken. It looked like it was awful. It was
That's
so
really
bad.
bad. through the forest.
That's funny.
I set the table.
You did. Well, you know what? On those classics and good times, I think we've had a good time.
Outro.
Yeah. So next week, guys, I'll be looking at Lost in Space, and hopefully I won't be lost in space.
Hopefully not. Hopefully we'll have watched Archer.
Maybe.
Potentially.
And played God of War, hopefully.
Yeah.
Money and funds.
Funds dependent.
I thought you. Oh, you haven't bought it yet. I thought you said you had. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Please no.
Megalobox, I would 100% recommend. It's only 4 episodes.
Robot Wars.
Yeah, you know, about an hour and a half of good time, no filler.
Can I watch actual Robot Wars and say that I did it?
Can we review Robot Wars?
Now we've said that I won't watch Robot Wars. If it's something that won't come up on the podcast, I'll likely do it.
Yeah.
Gabe, what's not coming on next week so I do that?
What's not coming on next
God
week?
of War, not talking about that.
We're not talking about God of War next week.
Okay. What are we?
We are.
Yeah.
Yeah, so God of War, Lost in Space, Dan finds a new voice.
What do you mean, new voice?
I criticise more cartoons.
Yeah. Good times all around.
Realism.
Who knows?
101, why 101? 101 Dalmatians is a bit overkill for a coat.
Well, no, I think the whole point is you're supposed to want to make 8.
Outro, question to think about.
Is 101 Dalmatians
enough for a coat?
Good times with Du Bois. I've been Gabe.
I've been Dan.
I've been late.
Ya boy, da boy, my boy.
Don't.
Oh, please.
See you later, boys.
You really need to stop. You've really got to stop that. That's just like chalk.